Richard James, please.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I suppose I'm an old hand at this sort of thing, and I think it's great to have these debates. And I was only talking to a colleague today, and it'll be 20 years since I first made my bid for the seat of Pembroke on the 20th of May 1989, and a lot of water has travelled under the bridge since then. I was born in Hobart and spent 50 of my years on the Eastern Shore, elected a member of the council for about 20 years, and I'm currently the chair of the Clarence Cultural History Advisory Committee. It's interesting to note that I've served on a number of local government and civic and community organisations over the years, and one of the key things that I am pleased to be party to was in the 1980s I worked with the steering committee to establish Neighbourhood Watch and Safety House programs on the Eastern Shore. I'm an owner and operator of a small business in Lindisfarne, which I've carried on that business for over 25 years. A family man, and my teenage son currently attends a college out on the Eastern Shore. I think the Eastern Shore is a wonderful place to live, work and to be brought up, and I think it's important that the next member for Pembroke appreciates what issues, what culture and what goes to establish an important part of the culture and heritage that exists on the Eastern Shore. I look forward to this debate because I think there should be more of them, and I hope that the other members here get as much out of it as I'm sure I will tonight. Thank you.
And finally to James Crotty.
Thank you all for coming, and thanks to my fellow candidates who decided to join me, and even to those two who haven't. We extend our thanks for them taking part in the democratic process which has brought us all here tonight. Firstly, I'm 34 years of age. I was once 34 years of age, but I'm now 54. I'm married with 3 children, one of whom is in this room. And in fact, so is my wife. For a long time I was known as Dr. Crotty's husband, and I'm happy to be known as that again. I can practice nepotism, and indeed I would if it was appropriate. So whilst we have criticisms of Alison Ritchie for the process that she adopted, let's not forget that she was a very good member of this local community. She did very good work, and if there are blemishes, there will be blemishes amongst all of us. It's just that that one became very public very quickly and had the consequences that it did. But having said that, some of my blemishes in terms of my election campaign are that I don't live in Pembroke. I do, however, live in Cremorne, which is on the Eastern Shore and is a lovely little place, as I'm sure that Pembroke is. So my claim to fame, or my claim to electability, isn't based upon what I've done for the local community, because I'll be the first to say that I can't match any of the candidates here, and certainly not the 3 gentlemen who've given so much of their time to council. But I do hope that I have other skills and other attributes that will attract voters, and those skills and attributes may become apparent during the course of the debate. Just in case you missed them, I'll tell you. As a lawyer, I'm capable, I hope, of representing the issues that the electors of Pembroke see as important. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Before I turn to my the august members of the panel, I'd like to ask a starting question to each of our candidates tonight. I'd like them to describe how they see the role of the Legislative Council in Tasmania today, and how they would fulfil that role coming from the great electorate of Pembroke. So once again, in the same order, could I start with John, please?
Thank you, Mark. I've always believed that the House Review, the Legislative Council, should be free of party politics. I've always believed that, and I'll probably always have that belief until I go to my grave. Why? Because I don't believe in being told. I think the House Review is where you review legislation. It's very important for you to judge all the issues and talk to people about them. I don't want to be told I've got to vote this way. I don't want to be told I've got to vote that way. That's not for me, because I represent you if you elect me, like if you elect anybody else. I want to put your thoughts into the legislation that's appropriate, and debate it with you, not having a party say, you will follow this line. That's the way I feel.
Thank you, John. Wendy.
Well, as John mentioned, it is a house of review, the Legislative Council, but I see the Legislative Council as having a much broader role, and especially of late, with the Joint Select Committee process, such as in relation to the Ethics Committee. There's also Legislative Council committees. So the Legislative Council can definitely influence what happens in the Parliament and in the government. I am standing as a Greens candidate because I have Green values. There are no other Greens candidates there's no Greens members in the Legislative Council, but I will have that Green perspective. But the good thing about the Greens Party is we always have a conscience vote. So we vote based on our values, but also based on the evidence before us and on the views of the people that we represent. I've said as part of my campaign that I will be planning together with the people of Pembroke, I will be acting together, and together we will achieve. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Peter Cooper.
Thanks, Mark. The House of Review was formed as the Legislative Council, and this is what it should be. When a bill rises from the lower house up to the upper house, it should be reviewed, and each Legislative Councillor should express his views on behalf of his constituents. Now, if we have party members up there, they must vote the way the government of the day or the opposition has voted in the lower house. This is not right. It should not be like that. Now, when can you remember, when did a private member's bill go from the upper house to the lower house? It's been a long time. If elected, that's what I will be doing. I will be shooting private members' bills down to the lower house so that they can look at my bills, because I see the role of a Legislative Councillor being a lot better and a lot more involved than just being a Legislative Councillor. You can get things done. You can put bills through, but it hasn't been done for a long time. The Legislative Council is not a rubber stamp. Parties have been trying to take it over, and that is not right. We don't want it like the Senate. We want it to remain independent. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. I definitely want to keep the upper house independent and free of party politics. Thank you.
Sharon.
Thank you. I think the previous candidates have spoken a lot of the things which I also agree with, you know, the point about free of party politics and review. But the point that I wish to reiterate is I can be a good listener, and you need a good listener to listen to each and every constituent in Pembroke and respond accordingly to their wishes. Because if I cannot listen to you, then how can I represent Pembroke in the upper house to review and check on the lower house? So I thank you again for this opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you.